Welcome back to my channel. We're playing 20 questions with.
Clark Fralick or at Dragon Drawer 42.
All right, let's get into this. When I say fountain pen, what pen do you think of?
Parker 51.
How did you get into pens?
Got into pens while bullet journaling. I was searching for a pen, but I wasn't into a lot of the EDC that are really like titanium heavy
Okay.
metal. I don't like a metal pen, so I was looking for something lighter and came across the an article on fountain pens, and let's give it a go, right?
All right, what was your first pen?
Lamy Safari.
What's your current daily driver?
Good question. I switch out my pens monthly. So currently, I would say my Rockster Daydreamer. I use that mostly this month.
Okay. What's your favorite ink?
Man, there's so many favorite inks. I'm going to go with.
Hemingway gave 3, so you can give more than one.
So I'm going to say Robert Oster Taiwan Blue.
Okay.
I'm also going to say Ferris Wheel Press Bluegrass Velvet or Velvet Bluegrass, one of those.
Bluegrass Velvet.
Bluegrass Velvet, yeah. And then Diamine Skull and Roses.
Okay. I like the sort of spread.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of a tealy blue-ish family, but the Skull and Roses has wonderful sheen, and I just love the shading of the Taiwan blue. So yeah, I came across that, and I've just always liked it. So
fair enough. What's your favorite brand of either pens or ink?
Oh man, favorite. So when you say brand, are you talking like big brand, like Pilot Lamy, or are you talking about makers?
If it's a maker, it can be a maker. Like you can choose anything.
I have so many makers. I don't want to make any of them angry. But I do like my Rockster pens a lot.
Okay.
I do love my Pilot 743 a lot. I would say those two, yeah.
All right. Vintage or modern?
Modern, definitely. Been through that.
Do you swatch all your inks?
Absolutely. That's like therapy. And then coming up with, right. I mean, I started with the cola ring. Everyone has a cola ring. And then I made or 3. I have 2 now. And then I made my own book, which is like this. And this is just kikuya paper. And then I have books. I have this book, which the Waringal book. I have a Cosmo Air Light book that I do it in.
So would you say you enjoy playing with inks, Clark?
I do. I have a this is a Stalogy. I have Tomea River. I do. When I come home after work and I'm like in my room, my wife's like, "Are you playing with your inks again?" I'm like, "Yes." It's so relaxing, and it's nice to see it on various papers because we're always trying to inform ourselves what works best for us.
Yeah, I think I swatch on 3 different papers these days.
And I'm sure I'm missing one somewhere.
Do you have any pens where you daily drive the same ink combination and pen combination, or do you switch it up?
I do. So the ones I carry in my cup are the ones I switch out every month, and then I have I have a Lamy All Star with um, Urban Verdigris,
Okay.
and and then I have and that is on one of my desks, and then I use Skull and Roses in my 5 year journal.
Okay.
So, and then I'll switch that color next year when I start a new year. So,
Oh, that's a cool idea. Do you swatch all your nibs in a way that you can, or have your writing samples in a way that you can flip through them so you know what's in a pen, or do you just sort of know what's in every pen?
um, I do not have a list, and that's an interesting question because as a fairly new fountain pen user, you're just trying to find your fine, medium, broad, extra fine base point, and then now I went through a stub phase where I bought stubs, I had stubs ground. I'm not a stub person. Um,
Me neither.
it's just the way I hold the pen. I think I rotate a little bit, and so it catches the corner, and then it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. So then I do like a nice architect nib and not a cursive italic. Yeah, maybe a cursive italic I can do. Depends on who grinds it. So,
All right. What's a pen you wish you could see in person?
oh my gosh, I wish I could see in person. Well, the obvious answer would be the Chaos pen, um, just because it's so gaudy and unusable. I mean, I've seen pictures of it,
Yeah.
but to hold it, to see how much, is it like a pound of metal? Um, that just, oh, man, there's so many wonderful Mont Blanc pens out there that I would like to see. Um, some of the older ones. I think
Oh, okay.
I would like to see, but nothing. Haven't really thought of it. Um, yeah, I'm
But,
sure there's 100 of them that I would love to see. Anything from Nikaya, I would like
oh
to
yeah,
hold.
I think most of us would.
Right.
What's your grail?
Uh, my grail is a Nikaya, probably Piccolo in, is it Tamanuri? The kind of red one with either the green or yellow finish.
Oh,
It's a very simple pen. But to me, it's such a beautiful pen. Just to look at the Urushi on that. Um, I'm not most of my pens are actually very colorful, but that, it's so subdued to me that it's just a beautiful pen. And it's really not that expensive, but in grail pen terms, but to me, it's pretty expensive.
but my grail for a long time was a $28 pen.
Yeah,
Or 28 USD pen. I just couldn't find it anywhere.
right. I did just locate one of my, I have a grail pen, like an expensive
Yeah.
pen, the Nikaya. But I do have two pens that I want for my collection. I just found one, which was a Rockster. Um, he hasn't made those pens in a while, and I found one and bought one. So, and it wasn't expensive as far as the expensive pens go.
That's good.
And then the first anniversary, um, live, but it was limited number, and I haven't found it. But that's always out there.
Yeah. What pen would you recommend to a beginner?
First, I would say, here, try one of mine first. Then probably I have to go with what I've recommended before. So probably a Pilot Kakuno or Mommy Safari.
All right. What ink would you recommend to a beginner?
Probably a Diamine bottle of Majestic Blue,
Nice.
Meadow Green, um, whatever their favorite color. Diamine, I think it's underrated because they have so much ink, but I mean, it works, right? It's not expensive.
Yeah.
Um, and it's an easy way to get into, you know, ink. You can get cartridges too. So
I didn't know they did cartridges from Diamond.
I think they do. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say things that, but I'm pretty sure they do. I mean, they're basic. Wouldn't you think
You'd
that you could
think,
get a?
but I like honestly can't remember seeing them. If they do, I'll leave it in
That's
the
because
description.
they're so ubiquitous. They're just there,
Yeah,
right? It's like
they just
diamine ink,
exist.
right? There's so many colors that
Yeah.
you would think,
Yeah. What advice do you have for somebody who wants to try out fountain pens but are a bit intimidated by the hobby?
um, yeah, I would because I'm one of those just jump into it type of persons.
Yep.
And I would say don't worry about it. Um, it's not that much different, other than not pressing too hard with and I always saying here, try this out, see how it works, so you know what kind of pressure. I give my second graders fountain pens and help them and show them how to use them.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
I don't give them my nice pens. I only give them. I have some Jim Howes that I bought and some Pilot Parsies. But
Honestly, I would have liked, I would have liked school so much more, or elementary school so much more.
yeah,
If
it's cool. They
yeah,
love it. They've broken a lot of them, and I'm just like, it's like here, and the tines are like this. I'm like, how did you do this?
that's talent.
And their answer is always the same. I don't know.
Gotta love a 7-year-old.
Oh yeah. So, but they do. If you trust them with the responsibility, 95% of the time they're gonna carry through. Because I think we don't trust kids enough a lot of times, and they really want to be trusted. Think about it, as a child, everyone's like wanting to do everything for you. I'm just the opposite. I'm like, you can do this yourself. You know, um, it may not be perfect, but you're learning, and that builds the confidence of being able to say, I can do this. Think about the art as therapeutic, and not always worrying about it being perfect and beautiful, but finding the joy in that. And they find joy in using those unique materials, like a fountain pen, even
Yep.
though it's got black ink in it.
What filling mechanism do you think is most interesting, regardless of if you like to use it or not?
Filling system. Oh man. Something that have you seen those pens where you stick them on a base and it shoots the ink into them?
Yes.
All right, that's interesting to me, and I'm wondering why other manufacturers, other than some of the Chinese, don't experiment with that. I do like a.
I don't know, but as soon as they start to appear on Amazon.ca, it's ending up on a wish list.
Yeah,
I
and I think what's eyedropper?
yeah.
I eyedropper. I think eyedroppers are cool, but I don't own one. So
I own one, and I got it at Chicago, and I've only just silicone greased it. So it's going to be.
I want to get an Opus, but excuse me, just to experiment and play. I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
No, I've got one of the tiny ones that Penrome was selling that are like this tall.
Oh, those little baby ones.
A little baby.
Who makes those? Is it just a Jinhao, or is it?
No, it's some other company that I think it's Wancher. Like I knew of them, but I didn't know that this was a style that they made until Penrome had them at Chicago.
No, I'm going to have to go look on Kirk's website.
He's got them in a whole bunch of colors. And so it's going to be part of my July ink. I've decided. I'm gonna.
Does it come with a keychain?
It should. Honestly, the fact that it doesn't have a little hook so that you could even attach a keyring to it yourself is a little bit bothersome. And I'm wishing. At one point I stuck it down the lanyard, not the lanyard, the rickshaw case, the show one that you could attach to your lanyard, and then had to try and get it out, and it was not.
It's like a tube of yogurt.
Yeah, I need rickshaw to make a tiny one that's about this tall.
Oh my gosh!
With a little loop on it, so that I can attach it to things. Because honestly, you can't attach it to anything. You can't put it in a pen case.
Yeah.
Kari's got 3 of them, and is just like she's put them in a wallet so that she doesn't lose them.
Yeah,
they're absurd.
I'm going to have to try. There's that, and then the wine bottle pen that Opus has.
Yeah.
So
I figured it was a $25 commitment to see if I actually liked a filling system, and if I hated it, I didn't need to try another eyedropper.
Right.
And it would be
if you write a lot, I guess they're great because they hold a ton of ink. But
what nib size do you prefer to write?
It's ever evolving. I think I started with EF, then I went fine. Now I'm medium and probably moving back to fine. So.
All right. Is there a style of nib you love the look of, or love to test, but never would actually use?
Oh, any stack nib. A blade, something, that those things are so cool to look at. A monarch nib, I'd love, but they're so expensive and
they're so pretty.
They are. They're works of like wonder. They're just like jewelry. And, I've yet to write with a monarch, or I've written with a couple stack nibs, and they're just so juicy. And they're so just lovely to work with.
No, I've written with a monarch, and it is quite fun.
Yeah.
But someday.
And I know there's people out there that have like 4 or 5, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, everyone's got different disposable income.
Yes. I'm a teacher. I have very little, so.
Yeah, we're just not going to talk about it. Do you always use the same paper? If so, what paper?
No, I don't always use the same paper. Usually it depends on what notebook I have. Like this notebook right here is Lloydstrom. It's a bullet journal. But I bought this like 2 years ago, and I just started using it this year. I do prefer Midori paper.
Okay.
So I have Midori paper that I use to like doodle in and write in. But I also have, paper my the Hobonichi in my journal, the calendar. So the Tomoya River. I think this is the Samson, maybe. I can't tell the difference between the old and the new, but some
I've never
people
tried
can.
either.
Oh yeah, some people can tell the difference.
Yes,
Um,
Deb can. I had an entire like on the show floor at Chicago. Deb gave me an entire overview of old versus new and why she had a stash of old.
I do have a stash. No, actually, I gave away my stash. So no, I do have some loose leaf of the old because I was going to make little binders or little journals with it. So I
Uh,
bought some loose leaf,
no, I've never
but
tried.
it I don't use it that much to justify the search. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you have a least favorite ink or a least favorite ink color family?
Anything that's really desaturated is probably a least favorite of mine. Um, I don't know. I struggle with finding enjoyment writing with really light inks. My daughter, on the other hand, prefers a lighter desaturated ink.
Same.
Um,
Everything I write with is muted and
yeah, I do like a muted color,
okay.
but it has to have some darker base to it. I don't know if it's. I find myself writing harder with a lighter ink,
Okay.
so I think it's just an ingrained in my brain that it's light. I need to press harder, and I'm like, no, it's a light ink. Um, so a medium, color wise, gosh, I love all colors. Probably yellow inks
Right.
because I don't have any yellow ink.
I don't either. Actually, I've got a shimmer yellow behind my head, but other than that, well,
Ah,
that's all 20 questions. Thanks for playing.
wow, that was quick. That was so quick.